Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lenormand. I'm your host Aya, and today we're continuing my video about short meanings of Lenormand cards. So if you did watch my video, my last video, we did stop on card number 12. So the next card will be number 13. Here we go. And the child. So child usually, if you did notice, on most of the Lenormand desk, you can see the child between 2 years old, 3 years old, and the child between 9 and 10, so this kind of age. So what that means? It means everything about this card and around this card means all about something small. The child needs a lots of love, a lots of resources, a lots of job, right? A lots of money, a lots of things you have to put in the child to grow, and it takes forever. So this means that whatever you pull this card, it means you need to do a lot of effort. Let's say if your question was about your business and you pull this card, it means your business is still small, it needs to has a long way to grow, and you still are new in that business, and you need to learn a lot of things, put a lot of effort, maybe mentally, maybe financially, depends on your question. And if you pull that card as a describing person, it means a person is kind of young. Usually that card perfect describe people between very small age, and their age is like between 18, 19, 20, and which means that this person is childish, is not growing enough yet, you know what I mean, and needs a lot of time, not ready for serious relationship, let's say that way. Or it's also perfectly described if your question was like, how is my what's going on between me and Sean, and you pulled this card, which means like you and Sean just knowing each other, and you're just in the beginning of a relationship, so it's nothing serious yet, you know what I mean. So this card is, in my opinion and in my experience, is neutral card, because it doesn't say yes or no. So if you pull this card, that card not gonna tell you yes or no, that you have to pull another card. That's what I advise you. But this card can tell you a lot, of course, as any of the Lenormand cards. So negative part of this card usually describe the situation is not serious. You need to learn, you need to study. Maybe you don't have enough information, or you being too childish. You need to take responsibility of what you're doing, or the person is not serious to you, and thinking something quick. About positive part of this card shows that the person might be very childish, not in a bad way, the good way. The person open mind, joyful, open heart, honest, like any kid, believe in anything. So yeah, I like this card, but this card doesn't say you unfortunately much. So usually you can rely to the answer yes or no with this card. And also sometimes this card talks to you very literally. If you ask it about Aya, let's say, right, what kind of person Aya, or what's her past, and you pull this card, it literally can tell you that Aya has a child, or Sean has a kid, or loves kids, or wants to have a kid, in the future. So yes, that's all about card number 13. Next, card number 14, Fox. So this is one of my favorite cards. I will tell you why. Because this card symbolizes a job. Lenormand, there's two cards that symbolize a job, or all about everything about job. It's a fox and it's an anchor. So if you ask the question about job, about future job, or about business, or you have some ideas about your job, you have to take as a significant this card. In this card, people say mostly if you pull this card, it means you have to be careful, you have to be it's someone like foxy around you, or some member of your family might be not playing honest, with you, and being honest with you and stuff like that. Or at work, you have to be very careful because someone tried to take your space or take your vacancy. It's true, I agree with that. But also another part of this card, it describes people as a hardworking people who not lazy, people who always active and looking something, never sitting and waiting when someone gonna bring their job. The positive part of this card is people are usually work out, looking nice, because if the fox is not a big animal, but very bright red hair, red color, and they're cute, and they are very love family oriented animals. So what does that mean? It means the fox as a family member might play a good role, might may say lots of good things. Of course, unfortunately, in my experience also, I had situation when I had a co-workers who I thought they're my good friends, but turns out in a particular situation they were fox. They did everything. They were talking nicely to me, laughing, but at the end turns out they want to just take my space, and kick me out from job. So you have to be very careful, because the appearance of fox, as you see, they're cute, they're fluffy, they're not a big animal, but inside usually they are, like a bear. So another significant of this card, this card symbolizes also people who are like managers, people who needs to walk a lot, talk a lot, be everywhere. They're perfect describe people who bartenders, servers, people who police worker, detectives, people who needs to be wise, be fast, be quick, and work hard, doesn't sleep at night, stuff like that. Okay, next card, bear. That's also one of my favorite cards, because the bear is of course, bear is a bear, and the bear is, your answer is yes, yes, yes. If you pull that card and you add a question, and the answer will be 90% yes. I will tell you why. Because a bear is big animal, and the bear is the person usually described by this card, person who has a high society member, person who's sitting in a good thick, filthy chair, person who has a good amount of money, person who has a not just amount of money, he has a good job now, person who can help you a lot, physically, mentally, financially. So the bear usually describe people usually older than you. Usually, in my experience, it's always described someone who like a mom. But in most of the people say it's a man, older man, like dad or brother. But anyway, that person can help and solve lots of your problems. So if you pull this card, and your question, for example, was like, who I'm gonna meet next year, or who can, what I have to do for, getting my job better, like getting more money on my business, and you pull this card, you need to find someone who can support you. Let's say maybe advertiser, or people who can put the money on your business. So you need to look that person, or you already going to meet that person. He's on her way or his way. Let's say the negative part of this card is the person can be tyrant, overprotecting, being like, let's say, when I asked the question and I put this card, turns out the person who was described by this card means he was tyrant. That guy was too much. He tried to protect and be overwhelming, being try to control everything, every single thing. It wasn't good. So unfortunately, that's one of the negative part of this. And also, I experienced that this card talks about health issues, like overweight, or eating too much, or opposite, having a weight problems. Yeah, because don't forget, the bear is a big animal. Most of the time it's like what? It's really big, and the bear loves to eat sweet. So you know what I mean. Okay, so next card is number 16, stars. It's a neutral card. It doesn't gonna tell you completely yes or no, but as any card, it's gonna tell you a lot. It depends how you're gonna turn on your fantasy and how you're gonna feel your intuition. So these cards basically talk about famous people, or people who like celebrity, Hollywood star, or person who's a famous in his city or her city. Let's say bartender too can be like a star, right? They're shining, they're bright. Negative part of this card, that if you ask advice from the cards and you pull this card, it means you may be too much flying in the sky, you being too much living in your dream, you stuck in your dreams, and you're not being realistic, you're not doing anything to make your dream come true, let's say that way. And also, this card says that you need to stop flying somewhere, or watching too much TV, and look how celebrity lives, and thinking, oh, when I'm gonna start living like them. You're not gonna start living like them if you're not gonna move your ass somewhere, right? If you're not gonna start working and making real your dream. Most of the time, this card describes people who work online, any kind of online jobs, all kind of like Facebook, let's say, WhatsApp, Viber, anything what's about internet, like Amazon, Facebook, and stuff like that, right? Most of the time, that card also describes tech workers. Yeah, it's perfectly described tech workers, because tech workers most of the time sitting right, internet and online is all about. In my experience also, that card shows that your dream coming true. It means if you are planning, like let's say if you're planning to open your YouTube channel and you pull this card, right? You're asking advice from the stars and you pull this card. Positive meaning of this card means yes, you can. You were dreaming long time ago, for example, and now it's your time. Your star going to become a bride. Your dreams become a true. And the angels who lives in the sky, angels who live in the sky, they are for you. It's your time. The stars are for you, you know. It's your star, your time. So that's what I do believe in. When I didn't know, should I do YouTube, should I open YouTube channel, and I wasn't sure, to be honest, and I was thinking about that quite long. I was dreaming, I was thinking and counting and stuff like that. And the advice of this card, I did understand, like they were trying to tell me, yes, it's your time. Your dream come true, and the stars are waiting for you, and they are for you. So yes, that's amazing. Card number 17, storks. So the storks are definitely positive card most of the time, because storks, they are not the regular birds. Storks they can fly far away, and they're very family oriented birds. They really take care about older member of their society. They take care about their birds. They very love their nest. So basically all about family. And of course, most of the meaning of this card is being positive. And also it means if it's really good card if you're thinking to have a baby or find a person who you want to make a nest, you know, make a family together, create a family, you know. That's really positive card. Also about pregnancy. This card all about the pregnancy, or it's a good time for be pregnant, or high possibility to get pregnant. So if you're looking, it depends on the situation, it's a really good card if you pull that card. Also, of course, the answer most yes. In my experience, this card mostly describe my mom too, my mom and my aunt. And I ask other people, and they say it's true. Lots of people told me, yes, that's mostly describe female, older female who really like my mom, or mom who's very taking care about you, you know, calls you and make sure that you are, you know, you well-being. Also, this card says about migration a lot. Like, for example, if you are asking, am I getting a visa next week to go to Turkey, and you pull this card, it means yes, you're going, because this card all about migration, visa, moving somewhere else, or going back to your motherland. Yes, that's also about that. Negative part of this card, I don't know, maybe it's, in my opinion, I never had any negative meanings of this card, mostly neutral or positive. But I did hear that people say that negative of this card is person being like a cocky, you know, being too much. Person knows that he is like, you know, like too tall, because don't forget the storks are tall and skinny, and these people, like they think they know more than others, and being sometimes spend too much time for you know, searching something, like learning, studying, which is, it's good, but at the same time, if you're spending all day and neglect your family and being all day in a library, I don't think it's a good thing, you know. So as you see, like, cards are so interesting, you know. And card number 18, the dog. Of course, you're gonna think that dog is a great card. Yes, but in my opinion, it's a neutral card, because the dogs are not a big animal. And this card mostly talk about the person who, if you ask what's Michael doing for his job, or what kind of society level he has, dogs usually talks about people who has a humble life, who has a job, or if he has a job, he doesn't make a lot of money. Let's say compared with bear or fox, that person like takes his time, you know, he's happy whatever he has, you know. But negative part of this card, unfortunately, talks about people who dependable on other people's meaning, other people opinion, or like in my own experience, I had some issues, and I asked the question from the card, right? And I said, so how will be my documents? What's gonna be? How am I gonna get what I want, right? And I put this card. It means that my situation is, I'm like a dog, you know, I'm depending on other people. I'm depending of the answer other people. So now I have to wait, and I can't do anything. So see what I mean? Like when I say like a negative part of this card is like that. Also, it's always shows people who around you. And for example, like if you have a husband or boyfriend, there is someone who maybe fall in love with you or has a broken heart, and that person just next of you and doesn't want to go away, you know, just happy because he just sees you, or she just talks to you a little bit. So that kind of parts, you know. Good parts of this card, of course, dog is what our best friend. Dog is, they are fluffy, they are so loyal, they are so nice, so cool, right? So if you pull the dog, it means you have someone next of you that you can rely on, or you have a really good friend who you very lucky, right? Not everyone has a really good person who you can always trust all your secrets and always call and ask help. And or also it means maybe you will meet someone like that. Also, like in my experience, when I got questioned like what's gonna happen if I open the YouTube channel, for example, and I pulled this card, it did I think it did mean that I will get the followers, I will get the fans, I will have a people, I will get the people, or I have already people who I can trust, and they're gonna help me with my channel, with my job, with my whatever I have idea. Depends on your question, right? So card number 19, Tower or Castle. So this card, negative meaning, I will tell you 80%, 90%, because don't forget a castle or towers, they made from the stone or from some tough object, right? Cement, let's say, and it's not easy to break them. So same about this card. If you pull this card, your answer is definitely no, or it will take forever. It will take like 2 years, 3 years. In my experience, 2.5 years. Because, you know, it's not easy to build a castle. It takes time and it's not easy to break. It's a negative card, but it has also positive parts. Like this card, all about buildings, tall buildings, big buildings, like a university, college, schools, I don't know, all kind of facilities, bank buildings, everything about the government buildings, let's say that way. All kind of everything about the buildings, facilities. And also that card talks negative parts is the person is described by this card is maybe in a high society level, politicians make good amount of money, really good amount of money. That person has a power, that's for sure. That card perfectly describe people who like you know, has a bank or big company owners, you know what I mean, like Bitcoin owners, like Facebook owner or whatever, someone like that, someone not who's not like a dog level, you know what I mean, job. So but that person, negative part of this card, that person might be very arrogant, because that person has a very high society level, right? And he might be arrogant, he might be cold inside, he might be lonely, it's not easy to talk with him, not easy to open his heart. So that's all about this negative part of this card. In positive, when I remember like 3 months ago, I checked my friends and they were just dating, and my question was like, how will be their relationship end in 3-4 months, in 4 months, let's say. And I put this card, I was thinking, okay, it might be say that it's gonna take forever, they're gonna date for a while, but turns out the cards were telling me that they're going to live together, they got moved together, and also they're going to be married very soon, actually. So that card was telling me that the building, you know, facility building, like city hall, and they're going over there soon, and they're going to get married, they're going to be married. So see, the card is amazing how they work. One of the also parts of this card that I pulled this card when I asked it, oh, how I will be busy in next month, what will be my busiest part, and I got the answer was like by the government building, because now I'm preparing some of my documents for American passport. So you see now what I mean. Okay, card number 20, the garden. So this is neutral card. And the garden talks about any kind of social place, any kind. It's all about where lots of people gather for special occasion, celebrate something, or research something like conference. It's all about parks, bars, restaurants, playgrounds, any kind of big properties when people, I don't know, do stuff, work together, fabrics and stuff like that. So everything about gathering a lot of people, things and stuff. Also, sometimes it's basically talk about person who loves nature, who grows something, maybe like a gardener, or that person has a garden. basically, or that lady loves flowers, she's crazy about flowers, or her job is she works in a flower shop. It's so funny because sometimes the card talks to you so simple, you don't need to even turn on your fantasy, you know, you just see the card and you just say that. Negative part of this card, it might describe a person, let's say person who loves to be always on a public, person who hang out too much, let's say that way, every day at the bar, every restaurant. I don't think it's good, right? A person who depends on social and lots of people's opinion. A person who acts actually only on the public and doesn't show his real heart or her real appearance, her real face. So that's a negative part of the card. Also, in my experience, it did play out the person who was, let's say, not serious with his sexual relationship. It was too many people involved in his sex life, you know, like basically too much. So, and positive part of this card is it's fun, it's joyful. You might go and meet the right people. Sometimes the advice by this card from Lenormand, it means that you need to go out a lot. You being sitting at home too much, too long. You got bored, your luck waiting you when you go outside, go to socialize with other people, and you might meet right person or right people. Depends on your situation. And card number 21, Mountain. Okay, so for me, in my opinion, Mountain, card number 21, and card number 19, the Castle, they are similar. You know why? Because number 21, mountains they are what? They are creature of nature, and they are tough. They big, they can be flat, they can be very dangerous, they can be watery, they can be cold, they can be just rocky, right? And it's not easy to move them. They're made by stone. So of course it's gonna be negative card, and your answer will be no in 80, 85, 90% by card number 21, Mountain. I will tell you why. Even you got pull another card, and another card was a positive, let's say, right? Even with positive card next of the Mountain, still the answer is yes, but you have a huge but. You have to be ready, because of your way to your target or to your business, let's say, or to your dream will be long. Because don't forget, to try to go to mountain, top of the mountain, it will take forever, and it will be very dangerous. It might be very dangerous, right? We know we know lots of stories when people just disappear, or they were found like after like 100 years or 80 years, right? Their body were found. So same. So you have to be very, very conscious when you ask a question and you got this card. It means the road will be dangerous, or it will be too long, and it will be it's going to be lots of complications, lots of problems. So you have to be ready. But the positive part of this card is if you reach the top of the mountain, right, you gonna be number one, you're gonna be the winner, you will get more than you can expect, more than you were dreaming about. So don't forget, that's one of the great cards and toughest card in Lenormand card desk, in my opinion, but it's, you know, it worth it. So you have to think double before you start something by this card, the answer. In negativity, also this card describes people who are arrogant, cold, maybe some, let's say, kind of very closed, you know, not easy to open, has a lots of thing going on inside or in his mind. In my experience, it did show people who have mental problems, had a maybe really bad experience in the past, so to become a very cold, ice cold mountain, basically person who lives by himself, who likes to be like a mountain or be inside the mountain, you know, doesn't go outside and stuff like that. Positively of this card is also describe person who loves nature, person who loves sport, person who loves hiking and all kind of stuff. It's also talk about jewelry, by the way, too. Okay, card number 22, Path. Path always, it's easy to read this card, for my opinion, because this card you don't need to much think about. As you always see in card number 22, any kind of desk of Lenormand cards, you can see it's always 2-3 roads on a card, or 2-3 like ways to go. So what's that mean? It means this card try to tell you, depends on your question, on your situation, you have 2 ways to make an income, or you have already. You have 2 ways to solve the problem, or you have two options, or you have a two kid, or you're going to have a two kid. Sometimes it shows twins also. It's funny because I didn't think about that like when I just started learning Lenormand cards. Also, it shows that that person might have was married before, or you are his second wife, going to be second wife, let's say, or going to have two kids. By the way, also this card in a positive way shows that you might get a two luck. You might get a double luck, let's say that way. Negative part of this card, in my experience, it says about double-faced people. People who playing two games, you know, or having a two relationship at the same time. Let's say two girlfriend, or not being honest to you, dating with two people, you know, or two girls, whatever. And yes, and I remember I had situation when I wanted to know if that person is telling me the truth, because my gut, my intuition told me that he's not being honest with me, and the answer was important to me, and I didn't know who to ask, and I just pulled the card, and I saw that I got this card pass, and it means that person he was double-faced, and I thought he's honest to me, but turns out no, he was playing two, how you say, the games for two people, two different sides, and plus I did pull another card to just detailize to know what the cards exactly try to tell me, you know. And I pulled the card, negative card number 6 is cloud, which means the person being double-faced and by the cloud card, try to give me wrong information, or, you know, making my mind, you know, like making my mind like I'm in a cloud. Confusion, let's say it that way. So that's all about this card. Also, it shows that the people have maybe going to travel in two ways, or take two flights. It's interesting, actually. This card is actually neutral, but very interesting. Okay, card number 3. This card is a rat. Some people call it rat, some people call mice. I prefer call mice, but in reality, most of this number 23, third card is usually always showed up like a big, ugly, dark, eating, not fresh looking food rats. So let's say let's go as a rats. So the rats are people always say who experience and working with the Lenormand, they always say the card number 23, rats are the worst of the worst. They're worse even the snake, they're worse than even the size or cross. In my opinion, they are bad. Of course, they are negative. The answer is no by this card, right? But of course, this card is mostly negative. It talks about people who, bad people, criminal, killers, people who with bad backgrounds, thefts, I don't know, cheaters, all negative meaning, yeah, inside of this one card, let's say that way. So you have to be very careful if you are in a relationship, or you have a wife or husband, or you have marital problems, and you God's telling you your spouse is not honest with you, and if you pull this card, it means mostly, unfortunately, in my experience too, it means yes, your person or your person next of you who you're living with, or your spouse is not being honest with you, or someone try to take your spot, try to steal your happiness. Depends who you are, right? Or what was your question? Stealing your spot at work also. I had a situation, I will tell you, like 3 years ago when I just got pregnant. At my job, I had a very interesting situation when I was thinking my co-workers being nice to me, but turns out they were rats, you know? Unfortunately, it is what it is, and the rats, don't forget, they're working at nights. And they eat, they're always together, they're a lot, and they eat, you know, leftovers, or they eat almost basically everything. They don't care, you know. So that's all about rats and human being who described by this card. Positive, in my experience, they did play it out as a positive cards too. I will tell you how, because rats or mice, they're always a lot, right? They multiply a lot, and they always work together. It's also talk about people who work together, having a great relationship with co-workers. Or if your question, for example, was about how to make my business better, what to do to create great company or great relationship with let's say some of the some people, right? If you get this card, it means you need to socialize a lot, you need to work as a team, you need to be part of the team, or you need to hire a great team in your company, then you will be successful. See, so that card, even the most negative card in Lenormand desk, has a positive card, You know what I mean? Sometimes, or meanings. This also got interesting because sometimes it's played out as a you might get pregnant, or you have a really good chance ability to get pregnant, let's say in a particular time. For example, your question was like, next year is a good time to try to get a baby. It means if you pull this card, it means yes, you have a good chance, it's a good time to get pregnant, because don't forget the rats, they're a lot and they have a big family usually, right? So the last card that I'm finishing my video today is a heart. I'm really happy that I'm finishing by this card, because I don't want to finish my video with card number 23, the rats, because I don't think it's a good sign. So I'm happy that last card I'm talking today and finishing my video, it's a heart. So card number 24, heart, as you see, heart is heart, right? It's all about our heart. I mean, literally and mentally. So basically this card talk about person who close to your heart, who you really trust, who's in your heart. It's not necessarily your lover or your husband or someone who you love or fall in love with. Also can be your child, right? Sometimes we love our kids until the death. Depends on the personality, of course, but still. Or it might be your job. People crazy about their job, they put all their heart in the job. So it's all about your really intimacy. It's something close to your heart. Also, it does show sometimes that person has a problem with the health, like had a stroke before. It has to be careful with his heart, or needs to make a checkups. Maybe his heart is, you know, needs to do some surgery, or needs to do some checkups, stuff like that. As advice of this card, if you put this card and your question was like, what am I doing wrong, or what I have to do to make my life better, if you put this card, the advice will be most like you have to stop taking everything too close to your heart, or you have to stop open your heart to too many people, you know, or you taking too close to you. Stop being emotion. It's also about emotion, our emotion and emotional things and feelings. Sometimes it's also show you know, the things that you have to be opposite. You have to be open your heart. You have to I don't know, start believing in love, or you have to start loving yourself, you know, then your life will change. So it's very interesting card. At the same time, it shows, of course, about love. Sometimes in my experience, I ask the question, what happened with Mike, why he's being so cold with Jen, and because it turns out Mike has a broken heart, not only once, you know, and he become very depressed, you know, it's affected his life a lot. And I did put this card when I asked the questions about him multiple times, which means when you pull the card again and again, and you're asking a similar question again and again, and you keep pulling same card, it means the cards try to make your attention, they try to tell you, pay attention, I'm telling you, and I'm trying to tell you again and again what's his problem, or what's the main problem of the situation. So yeah, that's all about this. And also this the heart card talks about that sometimes we are broken heart and we're lonely, or someone in our heart. Let's say if your question was like, what I think about me, and you like you follow, like you want to know what's in, is it serious relationship that person going to have with you, and you pull this card, it means yes, you guys might have a high percentage of having a real love, true love, or he thinks about you, you are in his heart or her heart. So mostly this card, in my opinion, is positive. But again, don't forget to leave a comments, and I'll be more than happy to know your experience or your opinion, what you think about the cards and how they work with you, talk, and how you see it. And again, thank you for watching my channel, and please don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click the like button, and hopefully I will see you in my next video in a couple days, and that will be my last video about short meaning of Lenormand cards, and it will be last video about just the general meaning of the cards. And after that, it will be really interesting and crazily interesting journey, because I'm gonna show you how the card works together when you pull 2-3 cards together. And we will take a great interesting maybe a little bit scandalous, maybe a little bit mysterious topics, and we will see how the cards work, and I will show you and I prove they work, they really work. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.